Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Thrive with Live show. I'm Katie Simpson, helping you to build your brand looking great, sounding great, and feeling fantastic on live video. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to sound great on your live videos. So first of all, I'm going to be touching on budget-friendly sound technology, what is great for your phone, the differences between smartphone and Android, and things that you can get for that, how to get a persuasive, engaging voice. And I've got a lovely freebie for you, how to use a microphone well. A lot of people, they think they know how to use these different microphones. For example, this lovely one here, and a lot of them don't. So stay to the end for a special freebie for you, some wonderful warm-ups. So I go live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday around 5 p.m. In Britain generally. The show notes can be found at katiesimpson.live/blog when it gets set up, which is hopefully soon. And you can subscribe at katiesimpson.live/podcast when that gets set up soon. So, great to see you here. Let me know, have you ever watched a live where you couldn't hear properly? It makes a big difference. And if you did you stay? So let me know in the comments, yes or no. Have you ever seen a live video when you couldn't hear properly? Yes or no? And maybe did you stay to the end? Now, let's get on with budget-friendly sound technology first. So sound on your live videos is so important, and many people say it's more important than the visual as well. If people can't see you very clearly, or if they're looking up your nostrils, sorry about that, or something like that, people can just get used to that sort of thing. But if they can't actually hear you, if the sound is really crackly, they can't communicate at all with you. So sound, we believe, is more important than the visuals. So it's great to sound great on your live videos. And if I just pan you down a little bit, I have a very, very high quality microphone here. So hopefully you can pick up. It's very heavy actually, and that's why I'm having to do stuff with this boom arm. It's a cheap boom arm. It's a wonderful, expensive microphone, so the boom arm can't really cope with it. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. Let me pan you up. So hopefully my sound is clear. Hopefully you can hear all the tones in my voice. For a podcast, that's really important as well. And there's loads of audio channels starting right now. There's Twitter, there rooms or spaces, they're called, aren't they? There's Clubhouse. They're doing something with Facebook and Instagram, all sorts of things, places where you can just use your audio. So it's really important to have great quality audio to show your voice off to the best, to sound intimate and close to people, and you know, let your whole voice, the tones in your natural voice, come across with a great camera. So these are budget-friendly sound technologies. Once you get a microphone for your computer, and I'd really strongly suggest you do need to spend much more than your phone. So with your phone, now I've let my hubby borrow the microphone that I was going to tell you about. I don't think it's in here. So a really budget-friendly microphone is a lavalier mic. So you can clip that onto your top, as long as it's not something that brushes your hair or your earrings or jewelry or whatever, brushes against it. As long as it doesn't brush against it, it's really good. And you can get a great one for only £28, made by a company called Boya. And these have long leads. In fact, the lead is a bit too long for my liking for most things. And so you can have your phone, out here, um, way more than arm distance away. You could have somebody standing away from you so far that you can see your whole body. You can have the lavalier mic, and it plugs into your smartphone. And you need to get, by the way, a microphone that is digital friendly, smartphone friendly. You can't pick up a microphone that's for other uses. I don't know whether you could plug it into some other thing, like maybe you've got a speaker or some amplifier. That won't work for a smartphone. The smartphone mini jack has two little dark rings on it which show that it's digital friendly. Other ones won't work. They only have one ring on them. So Boya MM1 is about £28 in the UK, which I think is about 35, but it might be a bit cheaper in the US for dollars. That is a brilliant one. Everyone recommends it, and it's really cheap and budget friendly. Now, if you want to go outside to do vlogging, I'd really recommend that you got something a bit better than that, because I don't know whether you've used your phone to do live videos outside. I have, and I need to get this microphone that I'm going to recommend in a minute. The wind outside can take your voice away completely on the sound, and all you hear is a whole load of crackle. And as we talked about, sound is really important for live videos. So I would recommend that you get a microphone that you can sit on top of your phone. Now you'll need a rig, which can be a simple plastic thing that have you seen people who are vloggers, they just hold the sides of the plastic thing and your phone just slots in there. And on top of the rig you can put little lights if you want. So if you're in my group, the live video success hub for ladypreneurs, you will see some recommendations in the guides for little lights that you can put on the top. So that is even better, but you don't have to have that. I would recommend that you got a microphone at least first. So there's one that just sits on top of this rig, and there's a cheaper one and a slightly more expensive one. And there's reasons why the slightly more expensive one is better for some things, but at least if you can get the cheaper one, it's made by the same company, Boya, B-O-Y-A, and this one is called the oh MM1. I'm saying the same thing, just give me a second. Yeah, the lavalier mic that I was mentioning a minute ago is BYM1. And this one is called the MM1. How confusing is that? Why don't they just call it smartphone rig microphone rather than letters, which are very similar to each other? So this one, the lavalier one that I was mentioning before, is actually only £15 in the UK. This is the one that's £28, and it just sits on top of a rig, and it has that, I'm not going to use the word that some people use, the fuzzy cover. I like cats, so I'm not going to use that word. I'm going to use the fuzzy cover, the wind shield, very, very fluffy shield. So it has one of those to help with wind protection. Now, if you've got a smartphone, you'll need to buy a rig, and there's a company, the plastic bit that I was telling you about. There's a company called Zeadio, Zeadio. They make one for only £11 in the UK, so that's about £15 US. Very cheap, just a plastic thing to hold your phone, and it sits the microphone on the top and it directs towards you. It's called a unidirectional mic. In the way that it's one directional, so you need to be talking towards it, whether that's quite far away or not. They're pretty good, and for the price, that's pretty amazing. So I would recommend one of those if you're going to do some vlogging or stuff that you don't want something on your person. You can either even put this tiny little microphone, because it's very small, in front of you at the computer and do that. But it is a small, like a headphone jack socket plug. Let me know if I'm making sense. Okay, so that is almost that for if you're using your smartphone. Just one little thing. There's another company which are very famous for making microphones and technologies called Rode, Rode. They do a microphone that looks almost exactly the same as the Boya MM1. And theirs is called the Video Micro. It looks almost exactly the same, and it sounds almost exactly the same. They're very similar. It's more expensive. It's like £20 more expensive. Let me just look that up for you. It is £54 in the UK, but it is better made with the clip that goes in it. The clip helps with, if you're knocking it, you won't hear bang bang of the movement. With the Boya you do, and it is better for the wind. If it's really windy, apparently it's a lot better. So that's the Rode one. So that's £54. So if you're going out and sort of jogging around with it, so there's a lot of movement, and maybe you're in a very windy place, you're going onto the beach or whatever, I'd recommend the Rode Video Micro. Now, just before we start, if you're like me and you have an iPhone, which is wonderful, it has no headphone adapter socket anymore, which is so annoying in my opinion. You just have this one lightning adapter at the bottom. If that is the case and you've got that, you need to just buy an Amazon headphone to lightning adapter, which is just really short. I just looked it up on Amazon, and the proper Apple one, and I'd always recommend that you get proper Apple products, leads, and especially for recharging your phone. Really important that you don't get cheap ones if you've got an Apple phone. It's only £9 in the UK for that little adapter. You need the little adapter to just plug in to your phone and then to the microphone lead. So that's just something to bear in mind. So the lavalier mic's really simple, really cheap. Just going up a notch, you can get the Boya MM1, but that one or the Rode one, you will need an adapter, and you will need the rig, the plastic thing to hold it with. Okay, so let me know if that's been helpful so far. If you're watching the replay, lovely to see you. Thank you for watching. Type #replay. And anyone, if you've got any golden nuggets from today, it would be wonderful. It just really warms my heart if you type #AHA, so aha, and anything that you've got from today, because not only is that really encouraging for me, it's helpful for other people to learn, and it sinks in their brain, and mostly importantly for you, it does sink in your brain if you type it in. So just type in AHA, #AHA, and then some nugget that you've got from what we're talking about. So next section I'm on to now is talking about getting a persuasive, engaging voice. So I've been teaching voice for 20 years now. Can you believe it? How old do I feel? I've taught countless people with their voice and their nerves and their performance, and I love doing it. And I've made for you a special freebie. So if you type in #voice, then I will get that to you. And it is a series of warm-ups. Warm-ups are really critical before you go live. It makes such a difference to your engagement, the way that you sound, your confidence level, your happy energy level. Everything will be miles better, honestly, and it also helps you to relax. So do get those warm-ups. They start with some lovely stretches, then some deep breathing, expanding the belly, contracting the belly, and then some sort of sounds, and then some exclamations, woohoo, yippee, hooray. And then I recommend that you say your tagline and you start by whispering it. So I help ladypreneurs to look great, to sound great, and to feel fantastic on live video. And then you do it a little bit louder and a little bit louder in a very excited, happy way. So first of all, warm up before you go live with your voice. Really critical, really helps. Makes a big difference to you, your audience, your live video, woohoo, engagement. Secondly, 1, 2, go down at the end of your sentences. There is a trend that's been around for many years, and it became popular, became a trend from American sitcoms, where they ask questions even though they're not actually asking a question, and their voice goes up at the end. That's actually personally, I find that quite annoying. Maybe you don't. But it makes you sound unsure because it's like you're asking questions all the time. So to sound persuasive, you need to go down at the end of your sentences. Sound like you know what you're talking about, because I'm sure you do. So that's another tip. Second tip, go down at the end of your sentences. Third tip, some of us naturally, habitually, maybe we picked up traits from our childhood or whatever. We tend to speak with a bit too much breath. We tend to speak a bit too softly. So you don't have to like shout. I really wouldn't recommend that at all. But have a strong voice. Now, a little exercise to help you have a strong voice. What's physically happening if you've got a very breathy voice is that you're not bringing your vocal folds together inside. You are letting air escape, and you can't sound persuasive if you're letting air escape. And that's very relaxing, but it's not very persuasive. So you need a bit more edge to your voice. So a little practice is going, oh. Can you hear the little clicks? Oh, they probably pick up with this great quality microphone here. Let me zoom out a little bit. You just be able to see, zooming out a lot. See my Heil microphone a little bit here, there. So this can pick up all sorts of things. Let me zoom you back. Don't get seasick. Ooh. I have got a sound that says self-destruct initiated. Not playing that at the moment. Let's just bring you a bit further in. Great. So strong voice, just practice and hear that little click in your voice, and then just speak with a bit of power. Just practice your tagline. Yes, I help. Using that sound. I help. Whatever. Okay. Fourth little tip is to vary your pitch for engagement and sound happy. So in pitch, I don't mean buy this. Not that sort of pitch. Pitch, musical pitch. Pitch goes high, pitch goes low. Ooh! So vary your pitch when you're speaking. So try not to relax down into your chair, because if you're doing lives from a chair, it can be really tempting to start hitting on a sort of monotone and tend to speak within that same note, and it gets really dull. So vary your pitch for engagement. Some cultures vary their pitch naturally, and actually those cultures, I'm thinking about Welsh and Italian here, tend to be people who tend to have really good singing voices as well. It tends to be part of the culture. So anyway, that's a bit of an aside, but vary your pitch for engagement. And if you feel happy inside, if you feel excited, you can even make yourself feel like that. You can, and sound happy, then it really will help. So let me just, before we get on to the next section, let me just do our little intro video. So bear with me, I'll be back in a moment.
This is the Thrive with Live show, the podcast where you can learn to go live with poise, professionalism, and peace of mind. Live video is the best free tool to win clients and grow your income and authority. So, if you want to ditch the overwhelm and confusion to skyrocket your online success through the dynamism of live video, then you are in the right place. This podcast covers all aspects, from your mindset, voice, style, and personal branding to all the technology and tools you need to get started and grow with live video. And now, here is your host, Katie Simpson.
Hi, I'm back. So, hashtag aha. Any nuggets from our second section of our live video. So the last section, section 3, is coming up now. How to use a microphone well. Now let's just chat a little bit about microphones for computers, because I haven't mentioned them much yet. So microphones for computers. I have this one here that I'm using. And I used to use this one. Now, this one is a very well-known microphone. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Let me just zoom back a little bit. So this is the Blue Yeti. It comes with its own stand. You can twist it forward and back a little bit. Let's just tighten that. It's easy to use because it comes with a USB end like that, so you can just plug that straight into your computer. You don't need a mixer or anything, and it comes with these settings on the back. So at the moment, I have it to what we call cardioid. It's like an upside down heart, which means that if I have the right part of the microphone, which is this part, facing me, the sound is going to go directly into it, and it's not going to take sound from the back and all round. So if you're doing live interviews, you can use that O, which means oh no, not the O. The O means surround sound. The 8, that's like an 8, if you can see that. That's good for interviews because it won't do the sound from the side. It will be somebody over there and you over here. So it's really flexible in that way, easy to use, not that cheap. It's £120 about, or more. It depends. There are loads of colours. So it depends what colour you want. And the company who are called Blue, it's now been bought out by another company. I'm not sure what that is. I think it might be Logitech. They do a smaller one, which is about £55 in the UK, called a Snowball microphone, which is a little round one. And that is pretty good as a starter microphone, but it doesn't, if you have it right in front of your computer, and if your computer gets a bit loud, then you will hear the sound from your computer. You will hear surround sounds because that's what it's like. It's directional all the way around. And then there's a mini version of this one, which is called a Nano. And then there's pro versions of this, a few. So you go up in price. So the Nano is £100, which is like a mini version of this, slightly not as good as this one. And then you've got the pro versions. So they look amazing. It's such a beautiful looking mic, and it used to be better quality than it is now, unfortunately, because they've been sold out. So if you can get hold of one that, I'm not sure when they were sold out, I think it was a couple of years ago or so. So maybe one that's a little bit older, um, would sound better, than they are now. But they're still really, really popular. I've actually got one behind me just here. This is like a 1940s vocal mic. It's got that type of connection. It's not a digital one. You couldn't use it in your computer, and you have to sing straight into it, and it picks up all the. So again, that looks fab and really retro, but it's very difficult to get to use. So there is one that's, I think, and somebody who is fantastic at live video. Excuse me, Ian Anderson Gray. Do follow him if you haven't. Ian Anderson Gray. And he really recommends the Samsung Q2U, which is a better microphone all round from this one. It's a different type of microphone. It's also USB, so it's easy to use, and it's about £100 in the UK, so it is cheaper than the Blue Yeti, and it produces a great sound. Now, before I tell you different types of microphones, so this one is a limited edition. It is called a Heil PR40. It is worth a lot more money. It picks up things very, very sensitively, so you have to have a pop shield in front of it. So there are different types of microphones. So this one, I need to speak directly into it. If you look here, I'm speaking directly into the end of it, not into the side of it. If I spoke into the side of it, you probably wouldn't be able to hear me as well. Let me know if you can still hear me. So I need to speak into the front of it. Now, that is completely the opposite of what you should do with the Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti, a lot of people, I've seen them hold it the wrong way round or have it in front of them the wrong way round. And a lot of people, excuse me, I'm just playing with my microphone stand. There we go. A lot of people do this and try and speak into the end like that. They call it a side address microphone. So you have to make sure that the blue is towards you and these are on the other side, and you speak over the side to the side of it. A side address mic. The other thing about it is that you don't have to have it right in front of your face. Now, you can't hear me speaking through this. I haven't got it plugged in. So you don't need to have it there. You can have it away from you. Whereas one of these sorts of mics, you need to have right in front of your mouth. The closer I get, the better it is, but the more that you hear as well. So you have to be careful with that. So I would ideally get a better screen than this. This is just a cheap screen. So hopefully I will get one of those at some point. So that's just some advice about how to hold a microphone, because they're different. The Samsung Q2U looks like a traditional microphone, a traditional black handheld microphone that you see singers using, and that is how you use it, really close to your face. The blue, you speak across it, side address it like that, and what was I going to say? You don't have to have it right in front of your face, so you just have it there. So, how to use a microphone well. Make sure you've got some sort of pop shield. If it's this type of mic, if it's this, you don't need to so much. Unless you're outside, you definitely need to. So thank you for staying to the end. Let me know if you've got any aha moments. I'd love to hear what they are, and you'd encourage me and everyone else, and you'd remember some little tips for yourself. So if you've stayed to the end, which you obviously have, if you type in hashtag voice, then I will get you your free voice warm ups. I'm excited about this. I was doing it last night. They're my favorite warm ups that I've used with countless people, and they make such a big difference to your voice. And I just touched on them in section 2 of our video today. So just type hashtag voice if you would like them, and that would be great. So thank you for watching. I hope this has been really helpful. And I will hope to see you next week. So if you'd like to subscribe, you can go onto Apple Podcasts or anywhere that you see podcasts, and this is called the Thrive with Live show. I go live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday. And the show notes, once it's set up, will be at katiesimpson.live/blog. So please share this with anyone that you think might benefit from it. All right. Thank you. And so until next time, I encourage you to gird up your courage, press that button, and go live. Okay. See you, everyone.